right, so in this video, we are going to practice reconciling a bank account. Now, over here on the right-hand side is where you will find the exercise, and this exercise is part of the basic level certification course. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the course after we do the exercise, there is a link below in the description. Be sure to click on that. But let's go ahead and dive right in and see what our scenario is. As a bookkeeper, your primary responsibility is to ensure that all financial transactions are correctly categorized and match the flow of money into and out of the bank. You have just received the monthly statement from Craig's bank, so now it's time to confirm that all transactions have been correctly added to and categorized in QuickBooks Online. So we will need to be in the sample company to do this exercise. I have it over here on the left-hand side. This is the dashboard. If you're not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link below in the description. But let's go ahead and get started with the exercise. To do so, we're going to click on Accountant Tools and then click on Reconcile. So Accountant Tools is right here at the top. Click on that. And then under Quick Links, click on Reconcile. Now note that you have accountant tools right here because you are an accountant user. But if Craig were the one to reconcile the books himself, he would need to go to transactions, which is here on the left nav bar, hover over that and then click on reconcile so that he would get to the same page that we have here. Now you will get a couple of welcome messages here. This is just an overview from QBO, giving you a little bit more information about what you would be doing here in reconciling and what to expect. This only shows up the first time that you reconcile, and then after that, it doesn't anymore. So let's go ahead and click on the Get Started button right here. You'll get one more pop-up, and then let's go ahead and click on Let's Get Reconciled. And this is the page that you will see appearing for you. Now, for the remainder of this exercise, we will be referring to the sample bank statement. Go ahead and click on this link right here so that you can have it pulled up for you. I have it in a tab right here. Once you download it, open it up, this is what it will look like. We will be using it a lot in this exercise, so be sure to download that right now. Now, the ending balance field, we are going to enter what is found on the sample bank statement. Here is that ending balance field. We need to go ahead and put this number in, 3890.89. I'm actually just going to highlight over it. I'm going to copy it. I'm on a PC, so it's a Control C, and then I'm going to paste it in here. Again, I'm on a PC, so for me, it's Control V as in Victor. I know Macs are a little bit different, but if it makes it a little bit easier so that you know you have the correct number, you can go ahead and do that or type it in. Now, in a real life scenario, you would use the ending date from the bank statement. For the purposes of this exercise, though, we're going to enter the last day of the previous month as the ending date. So in this box, for me, I am recording this video in January. So for me, the ending date would be December 31st of last year. Whatever you are doing, whatever month you are, as you are watching this, again, make sure it is the last day of the previous month. And then we're going to go ahead and click on Start Reconciling. And you will get a couple of pop-ups from QBO. Go ahead and just click out of those. It's just QBO trying to be a little bit more helpful and give you a little bit more tips about this area. Now, before we move on to the exercise, let's talk about what it is that you are looking at right here, because if this is your first time reconciling, it can definitely be intimidating when you first pull it up, but it's a lot easier than you think. So let's go through a couple of the parts so that you can understand what you're looking at. The first thing here is this beginning balance. It shows us 5,000. Now, this is the ending balance from the last time that you reconciled. It cannot be changed. It is set in stone. Now, the statement ending balance and the statement ending date, these are what we entered from the previous screen. If you discover that you entered the wrong date or ending balance, that's okay, no problem. You can go ahead and click on Edit Info and then make the adjustment as necessary. Next, you will see all of the transactions down here, and you will see a circle next to each one. If you click on it, a blue check mark will appear, and this will show that it is marked as cleared, kind of similar as you're processing the bank feeds. And what you're going to end up doing is you're going to be looking on the bank statement at a particular transaction. You're going to find it on here, and when you do, and it's all correct and matches, you click on this circle, and a blue check mark will appear. Now, once you start clicking on the check mark or the circles here to mark it as cleared, the information in the payment and deposit is going to move up into this area right here. Then we have this cleared balance. Now, the cleared balance is the beginning balance minus the combination of this payments and deposits. Then we have the difference right here. Now, the ultimate goal as you're reconciling is to get this difference down to 0. And the way you can know if it is the statement ending balance minus the cleared balance equals the difference. So as a bookkeeper, it's very satisfying to get this difference down to 0. It means that everything that is on the bank statement is matching properly with what is recorded here in QuickBooks Online. Now, one final note here is that transactions currently showing are only those that are dated on or before the statement ending balance. You can always turn off this filter by clicking on the X, which is right here. This shows that this is the filter. You can always click on that X, and you may need to do so if you have transactions that were added with an incorrect date. So you're seeing something here on the bank statement, you're not finding it here. It's very possible that it has an incorrect date on it. These are often referred to as hidden or rogue transactions. So just know that that is an option. If you can't find something, you can always get rid of that filter so that you can see all the transactions. Now, in the remaining steps of this exercise, we're going to complete the reconciliation just like you would do in real life by checking each transaction until the difference here is 0. Now, if you were clicking around while I was talking through this and you started clicking on some of the transactions, make sure that they are all unchecked by simply just unclicking it, or if you selected a whole bunch, you can just select all and then unselect all. Just make sure that there is nothing that is checked off right now. So using the sample bank statement, we're going to find and check all of the matching deposits. To make it a little bit easier for us, we're going to click on this deposits tab so that the only thing that we are seeing here are the deposits. And I'm going to expand this a little bit. Oh, I did it the wrong way. I'm going to expand this a little bit so that we can see the deposits a little bit easier. Oh, hold on one second. I'm having to do this because my screen is only half of the screen. If you have your on the full screen, you'll be able to see it a lot easier. So the reason that we're doing it this way so that we have only the deposits showing is because on the bank statement, they have it grouped out so that it's the deposits and other credits, they're all the checks, and then all of the other debits. Some banks break it out this way and some just kind of combine everything together. So the way we are doing it right now is because it is set up this way on the bank statement, and it's going to make our lives so much easier as we are reconciling through. So let's go ahead and get started here. The first deposit check is for $175. So let's go ahead and find that. That happens to be this first one right here. $86.40 is the next check. So that happens to be the next one right here as well. We have an ACH deposit from Kate Whalen. So that's for $225. And that is this one right here. You can kind of see it says Kate here in the payee field. Go ahead and click on the circle right there. The deposit check here for $105. That happens to be the next one. Then we have another one for $694, which is the next one as well. And then one final deposit for $337.50. So let's find that one. That happens to be the next one as well. And there we go. We have matched all of the deposits from the bank statement in QBO. So next, let's go ahead and find and check all of the checks. We're going to click on the Payments tab, and then we're going to click on Type so that we can group all of the checks together. So click on Payments so that we're showing only the payments now. I am going to expand this a little bit, and then we're going to click on type so that when we do that, it's only the checks that are showing here. Let's see if I can expand a little more. There we go. And then I'm going to expand the payments so that we can see that amount. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and look at each check one by one. So check number 2 for $18.08. Check number 2 and 1808. There it is. Go ahead and click on that circle. Check number 4 for $54.55. So that is one right here, 54.55. Click on that circle. Then we have $62.01. Check number 5. That is right here. So go ahead and click on that one. Then we have check 12 for $55. Let's go ahead and find that. Check 12.55. Great, that's a match. We have another check, check 69 for $100. Let's find that one. There is no check 69, but I do see $100 right here. So this is probably the one. Let's hold off and we'll go back to it after we look at the last one, which is check number 70 for $185. So check 70, 185, perfect. We're going to click on that one. Now, one of the checks is missing a check number. That's the one that check number 69 that we were just talking about. We can be relatively certain that this is check number 69 because it is for the same amount, that $100. Now, if we had access to the bank records, we could actually view the check image and confirm this. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to assume that that is what it is. So let's go ahead and edit a transaction to add the check number. Click anywhere on Tony's transaction line and then type 69 in the reference number box. So click in anywhere on that line. Here is the reference number box. Go ahead and type in 69 and then go ahead and click on save. And that has now been added. Let's make sure that we click on the circle right next to him. And we have finished all of the checks. So now let's move on to find and check all of the remaining debits. To make it a little bit easier, let's click on date so that we put the transactions back in the order that they started in. So click on date right here. And now it is being sorted by date. I am once again going to change my columns a little bit so that you can see it. Oh, I just took that off so that I can make it a little bit easier to see everything. I am definitely having a hard time with this. All right, there we go. We're just going to have to deal with it a little bit more. There we go. Okay, perfect. Great. So now let's go ahead and use the sample bank statement to find and check the remaining debits and payments. All right, so let's start here. We have $300, Robertson and Association. And actually there's two for Robertson and Association, one for $300 and one for $250. So let's see what that is. These actually happen to be the two at the top. You save them, their name in the payee field. Go ahead and click on the circles next to both of those transactions. Then we have this Board of Equalization for $38.50. So this, you can't see it in this type, but it's the sales tax. Board of Equalization is a tax agency. And so we see there are two here that look very, very similar, one for $38.50 and one for $38.40. There is a note here. We're going to check the one that matches the bank statement, which is the one that has the 50 cents at the end. Now, you may want to investigate what this other one is in a real life scenario. You want to see if maybe it is just a very similar payment or if it happens to be a duplicate. For the purposes of today, this is the correct one, matching the bank statement. So this is the one that we want. Let's continue on for Tanya's Nursery for $89.09. That is this one right here. Click on that. We have a 250 transaction for Hicks Hardware. So Hicks Hardware right here, 250. Click on that circle right there. Tanya's Nursery, $108.09. So there it is, Tanya's Nursery, 108.09. Click on that circle there. And as you can see, as we keep clicking on the circles, it's adjusting the payments deposit and the cleared balance, and then ultimately that difference. So we're getting closer and closer to that zero. All right, so Hicks Hardware for $24.38. There is one here for $24.36, not the exact amount, so we're going to hold off on that and we'll come back to it in a moment. We also have one here for Squeaky Clean for $19.99. And that is right here. As an aside here, I see that there is another one for Squeaky Clean Car Wash for the exact same amount. So if this was in a real life scenario, you would want to look at the date here and match it to the date in this on the bank statement. Again, we have the dates are constantly changing in the sample company, so we don't put dates here on the statement. It just makes it easier to keep it a little more general. But let's say that this is the correct one right here. But if you have duplicate charges for the same amount, same vendor, and dates that are kind of close to each other, you may want to investigate to make sure it's two separate actual charges and not just a duplicate. So just keep that in mind in a real life scenario as you are reconciling. The next one here for $5.66 from Bob's Burger Joints. So that is one right here. Click on that. $52.14 for Chin's Gas and Oil. That happens to be this one right here. Go ahead and click on that one. Then we have a $900 for Hall Properties. So Hall Properties right here, 900. That is correct. Click on that one. Then we have one for Hicks Hardware for $215.66. That happens to be the next one right here. So click on that one. And then finally, one for $3.86 for Bob's Burger Joint, which happens to be this next one right here. Now it looks like we have this difference of $24.38. So there is the one transaction with a different amount than the bank statement. That is this Hicks Hardware. Except in extremely rare cases, the bank is always correct. So we're going to correct the transaction in QBO in one moment. One final thing here that the difference shows what is remaining unchecked, this 2438. You'll notice that the amount equals the transaction on the bank statement that was not been checked yet. This Hicks Hardware says 2436, the difference says 2438, which happens to be the amount there for that Hicks Hardware transaction on the statement. So finally, we just need to correct the amount for that one transaction. To do that, we're going to click on the transaction itself anywhere on that line so that we can expand it. And then in the payment box right here, we need to change it to 2438. So go ahead and make that adjustment and then click on Save. And now that transaction has been updated, go ahead and click on the circle right here. And when you do, you will notice now that the difference is 0, which is perfect. That is our goal. And so everything has been reconciled properly. Everything is matching from the bank statement, what is in QBO. So we are all good. All we need to do now is click on the Finish Now button right there, and you will get this pop-up that appears. So, congratulations, you have finished reconciling. In a real life scenario on this pop-up, you would have an opportunity to attach the statement. That would be right here. There would be a button that says attach statement. But since this isn't a feature in the sample company, it's not showing up here. So just know that is an option. Highly recommended. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of an extra paper trail if you needed to see it. Now you'll note there that there will always be transactions that remain unreconciled because transactions clear the bank at different times when they are entered in QBO. This is not unusual. If you find a transaction though that has not cleared after a few months, you may need to go ahead and investigate a little bit more. So just know that all these other transactions in here, it's okay that they have been left in there, not unusual. So let's see a report of what you just did. We're going to click on View Reconciliation Report. That is this link right here. Go ahead and do that. And when you do, you will see this drill down report of what it is that we just did. These are all the transactions that were that we reconciled, that were also on the bank statement. And then all of the other information here, it breaks it down for you into checks and payments, deposits, the statement beginning and ending balance. So, just a really great drill down report. Now notice here that there is an opportunity for you to print this report in a real life scenario. So that would be just clicking on this printer icon on the top right corner of the screen in order to print the report. Now, as an aside here, let's say that after looking at the report, you realize you need to undo the reconciliation. To do so from the screen, you want to click on History by Accounts. That is this one right here. Click on that one. You may get some pop-ups. Just go ahead and click out of them. Now, to undo the reconciliation, next to View Report, which is the reconciliation report from the previous screen, it's this one right here, you would want to click on the down arrow to expand the drop down and then make the selection. So if I click on the arrow right now, all it does is allows me to print it. You would be able to undo. There would be in a client's books, there would actually be another selection here to undo it. But this is not available in the sample company, which is why you're not seeing it here. But just know if you had to undo the reconciliation, that is the process in how you would do it. And that's it. That is how you would reconcile a bank account. Now, again, this exercise is in our basic level certification course. So if you want more information about it, again, there is a link down there in the description. Click on that to get more information. And that's it. I will see you in the next exercise.